Good morning, everybody. Welcome into 104.3 The Fans Coffee Break. We've got D-Mac, Rachel V. Hill, James Marilot, all hanging with you as we preview Monday Night Football. The Broncos taking on the Chargers. It's been 10 days since we witnessed a brutal loss for the Broncos against the Colts. So can they get back on track tonight? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But both of you, how was your weekend? What did you do, James? I know you're still not feeling well, but what'd you do this weekend?
I had a lot of youth football, so 3-0 in the Maryland household this weekend. That was good. And then I laid in bed and watched a lot of football. That was my entire weekend right there. I was able to take enough Dayquil to make it to games on Friday night and Saturday, and then that was it. I was done.
Lazy weekends are always the best, so I never complain about them. D-Mac?
My son came over, my 22-year-old came over, and we watched Syracuse beat NC State and move higher and higher into the top 25 with a pretty massive showdown, actually, coming up Saturday against Clemson. So that was great, and we're doing stuff around the house. I'm actually trying to build a little podcast sort of digital media studio in one of the rooms of my house, and we made some serious progress towards that. In fact, I can show you later in the show a little bit of an example of it. It's not nearly done, but I can later on, if you want to see it, we can take a little tour.
Oh, a little tour of D-Mac's house. You never know what you're going to see, especially with the cats. All right, well, we need to get into, this weekend, actually, I spent it up in Estes Park. If you've never been during the fall time to go hear the elk bugle, highly, highly recommend. It's one of my favorite times of the year. Estes was beautiful. But we come back, and I am not anxious, but I'm just like, what the heck are we going to get out of the Broncos tonight? Where, a lot of people this weekend were asking me, what's going on with the Broncos? Like, is it Russell Wilson? Is it Nathaniel Hackett? And my answer was, I think it's just a little bit of everything, and it's just not working. So there's a lot of questions here tonight, but Justin Simmons is supposed to be coming off the IR, which is going to be massive for the Broncos. I think him coming off, just the leadership qualities that he brings will be the most beneficial. You can do only so much from the sidelines, so I'm excited to see Justin. But what can he bring from a game atmosphere, James?
Well, he's a great player. So just the more talented players you have on the field, the better. I guess I would quibble with your notion that he brings the leadership. Like, really? He's a good guy, and he's a great guy in the community. But what evidence do we have that Justin Simmons is a great leader? They haven't won squat since Justin Simmons has been here. Now, it's not entirely his fault or even mostly his fault, but there just sort of are these narratives that just get attached to players, and one of them is that Justin Simmons is a great leader. Based on what? He's a nice guy, and he's good in the community, all of which is thumbs up, and he deserves credit for, but I don't know that he's such a great leader. I think that's part of the issue with this team, and that's part of what Russell Wilson walked into, was a team that was devoid of leadership, a team that hasn't won anything. Brandon McManus is the only guy on this roster that has won a playoff game with the Broncos. I think maybe Cam Fleming has won a game. Ejiro Evero was part of a staff that won a Super Bowl, but not a lot of winning. So Justin Simmons is a great player. I think his impact on the field, between the white lines, is going to be bigger than his leadership qualities.
I've been asking Justin Simmons, my own way, to be the Nathan McKinnon of the Broncos. And I guess I challenge him on that. And again, like James said, it's nothing about being a good dude. The guy's world class, obviously. But where is the burning desire? Where is the relentless pursuit? Where is the I haven't done nothing yet, to sort of quote Nathan McKinnon? That's what McKinnon said when he was established as one of the top 5 players in the league. I'd hardly put Justin Simmons there. So I need to see a burning desire from Simmons to actually win and expect more from others. And if that makes him kind of a not so nice guy to be around, then so be it. You can be a great guy in the community and be a challenging teammate. Peyton Manning certainly was. In fact, the vast majority of leaders tend to be like that in sports. So I hope Justin Simmons figures that out. But let's face it, guys. I'm not trying to be mean here to Justin, but he went to Boston College, and for the past 6 years, he's been on the Denver Broncos. It's not like he's got some sort of incredible winning tradition going on in his past.
Exactly. And, again, that's not all his fault.
Of course not.
Let's just be realistic about it. It's not as though he's got this reserve of all these experiences he can tap into and use that as examples to give his teammates. He's been wandering around in the forest, in the desert, whatever you want to call it, with the rest of his teammates for half a decade.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rick. Sorry.
I was going to say, it's funny that you both kind of say the leadership. I don't know if this Broncos defense, if they lose tonight, can handle. Let me just say that I think it's going to be the breaking point. I think you're going to see an absolute snap if they get demolished tonight. But I think adding Justin Simmons in, this is where I bring in the leadership thing, can put the Band-Aid to hopefully keep it together. So maybe leadership isn't the right word that I'm looking for, but I just think that Justin Simmons out there in the locker room can, if they lose tonight in a bad way, I think it can be sort of the Band-Aid so that it doesn't completely snap off. James is like, Rachel, that's a load of BS. I don't even want to hear.
No, I think it's good, and I think it's optimistic, but we've seen this team unravel in one way or another each of the last 5 seasons, right? They were 7-6 a year ago. They ended up 7-10. They had a couple of good starts with VJ and ended up terrible. So he was on those rosters. He wasn't the Band-Aid that prevented that from happening. Now, he was a younger player, especially in the VJ years, so maybe he's in a different position. But, I think part of the problem with this team is your leaders are Justin Simmons, never won anything. Garrett Bowles, never won anything. Russell Wilson, brand new to the team. Bradley Chubb, who's having a great year, but he's been sidelined more than he's been on the field the last 2 years. That's part of the issue with this team. Dalton Reiser, who was supposed to be this perennial Pro Bowler and a great guy, and he's just like, he's a guy competing for his job in training camp. So I think it sounds nice. I think the premise makes sense. I just don't think we have evidence to suggest that has happened in the past and will happen starting tonight and moving forward.
Yeah, maybe our quiet leader is DJ Jones. I mean, at least he's done something. But then again, the problem isn't with our defense anyways. The problem is with the offense, not the defense. And maybe the bigger problem there is there's an unquestioned leader on the offense, but you can only lead as much as your ability allows you to be a great player. And it's very difficult to be a great leader if you're not a great player. You can be Mr. Rah-Rah, but not only do you have to lead by example, but you have to lead by your words too. And right now, Russell Wilson is just leading in one department, and I suppose that's his, Tim Tebow-esque words, not really his actions. And that's what's got to change. But they have to do other things too. They can't drop passes like they've been doing. They can't commit penalties like they've been doing. And they're going to do so with a little bit of a banged-up team on offense.
I think the offensive struggles, look, it's always going to fall on the quarterback, the old cliche, right? They get too much credit when things are going well. They get too much blame when things are going poorly. But Russell Wilson didn't fumble twice at the goal line in Seattle. This team has fumbling problems. They lead the league in drop rate. Their offensive line tonight is going to be a hodgepodge, and it's been a hodgepodge.
Yeah, James has been strangely defending Russell Wilson these days, and he's accusing people who are fairly critical of Russell Wilson as taking it too personal. And I'm like, what happened there, James? I mean, we're not allowed to be critical of somebody making $45 million a year?
No, people are certainly allowed to be critical of his play. I've been critical of the fact that he missed a wide open KJ Hamler on a play that is designed to go to KJ Hamler. So I'd be mad at my 8th grade quarterback if he didn't make that throw. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think a lot of this stuff where now we're, psychoanalyzing his ability to get along with people. Look, everybody's different. You don't have to go out with the fellas and have a beer to get along with your teammates. You don't have to be Peyton Manning, take all your buddies to Augusta. Maybe Russell Wilson likes to travel with his wife and family. What a weird notion. And for some reason, that's like worthy of, criticism in this town. That's where I think people take it.
But James, time out. It's not coming from people just here in this town. It came from KJ Wright, a teammate of his for 10 years, somebody who does not have an anti-Russell Wilson agenda. And sure, if you don't connect with your teammates, okay, if you can be good enough and win. I mean, who cares who comes to your birthday party, draft day? But James, if there's a vacuum suck of attention that just always leans towards Russell Wilson because, well, he's Russell Wilson, that can have a poor impact on the field too. Because can a team really be a team if you don't truly believe in who's leading the team?
I get it. But look, and KJ Wright talking about, I just want to have a guy who will come in the steam room and we can talk about our kids and talk about things away from football. I understand that, but Kyle Orton was good at talking with his teammates, and he was a crappy quarterback. At the end of the day, it's can you play the position? I just think a lot of the Russell Wilson criticism is personal. It's he has a quirky personality. Well, that's, to me, the definition of personal when we're criticizing his personality. The fact of the matter is, if he hits KJ Hamler with that touchdown and leads a game-winning drive at the end of the game, it's a different conversation.
Oh, my God.
It is.
James, you're talking about ATDs, almost touchdowns, and AWs, almost wins?
Okay.
Holy cow.
Right.
Hey, James, if I was 3 inches taller, I'd be in the Hall of Fame as a third baseman for the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, so
if frogs had wings, they wouldn't bump their butts on the lily pad when they jumped off. What are we doing here, James?
When they turn this thing around, then what is everybody going to say? All of a sudden, Russell Wilson's been spending a lot of time in the steam room with his teammates. That's what's going to make the difference.
I don't know. You tell me what's going to be better.
Haven't had enough steam time together.
Well, hold on, James. What's going to take to not be the 32nd team in the red zone and 31st in scoring? You tell me. And whatever that is, then we'll start talking about it.
Okay, well, again, who fumbled twice at the goal line? Was that Russell Wilson? Because that's in the red zone. So that probably hurts your stats when you've only played 5 games and you had 2 fumbles at the goal line.
Eric Tomlinson being an inch out in
right.
Let's go.
ATVs,
baby. AW.
I think Russell Wilson has played very well up until the Colts game. And very well, I should say
very
well. He played well up until the Colts game, and then it just really shot all the way down. Like, he was fine. He was consistent. He was getting a lot of passes. He was just consistent. He wasn't Patrick Mahomes. He wasn't Josh Allen. But he was just here until the Colts game, and then it shot down here super duper fast, and everyone went into panic mode.
We can do a who would you rather have contest right now, and Russell would lose to about 20 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Okay, well, who would you rather have? Actually, we're going to do this later on, but who would you rather have? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson? Because right now, every single one of them is struggling. So who would you rather have, D-Mac?
I'll take God, just for when? For the next 3 years or for like next week?
For this season. Or let's
just for this season? Week. Well, I would rather have Aaron Rodgers because if we're just, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather have Tom Brady because Tom Brady, I think, can figure it out. Tom Brady's not afraid to hold his teammates accountable. Tom Brady strikes a certain amount of fear that has proved into being a winner. I'll take Tom Brady, the greatest player of all time.
Tom Brady's also struggling.
Yeah, he's also screaming at his offensive line because they stink. And,
because we all know Cam Fleming and Graham Glasgow have been fantastic this year.
Okay.
So Tom wouldn't be yelling at that duo. The Broncos can't run to the right, and they can't block anybody in the pass game on that side of the field. But for Tom Brady, it's okay to make excuses when I come up with, reasons why he's struggling with Russell Wilson. It's not.
Let me tell you why I'd rather have Tom Brady. Because at 6'5", he can use the entire field, including the middle of the field. Pro Football Focus took an analytical approach of things, and they talked to coaches of Russell Wilson with the Seahawks, and they said, whether you believe it or not, that they couldn't use the entire field with Russell Wilson, so that's why they had to move him. At 6'5", Tom Brady's able to see the entire field and use tight ends effectively over the middle of the field. Not going great for him right now, but I'll take his knowledge and the way he sees the game and decision-making over Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
It's funny to me, this brilliant Pro Football Focus analytics piece didn't come out in the offseason. It comes out when he's struggling after 5 games. Like, they couldn't look at his first 10 years of his career and have the light bulb go on and break down the numbers and look at the data this way. Wow, convenient that when things are going bad, it's pile on time. Also, I would love to see Tom Brady flourish with Eric Tomlinson, Albert O, Eric Salbert, and Andrew Beck. There's some tight ends to really stretch the middle of the field. I mean, the 2 of the best offensive players on this team, Tim Patrick and Javonte Williams, are gone. Their tight end room may be the worst in the league. Their offensive line is dreadful. Nathaniel Hackett has to get a babysitter to help him with game time decisions. But, yep, Russell Wilson, give me the analytics because it's all on him.
All right, James. I see where you're going. So you're saying they're going to lose tonight and it's not going to be Russell Wilson's fault?
No, I picked the Broncos to win tonight.
You just listed 15 reasons why things are awful. So wait. Hold on. This is even better. You're picking Russell Wilson to be unbelievable and overcome all those issues. That's
Correct.
how good you think Russell Wilson is.
Well, it's also how bad I think Brandon Staley and the Chargers defense is. They're giving up 27.2 points a game. Have you watched the Jaguars the last couple of weeks? They're dreadful. They went into LA and put up 38 on the Chargers, 38, and they're a bad offense.
Well, the Jaguars just they lost, but they put a bunch of points on the Colts that the Broncos scored 9 points off of. So they did that.
And they put up 6 against the Texans, which I get it. The Broncos
put up the Jaguars, that's a different. The Jaguars are an up and down weird team. You really don't know what you're going to get there with the Jaguars. The Jets are rapidly improving, by the way. I mean, big time. And you got to pay attention to them. And those are the next 2 games after the Chargers. And you don't get these long extended weeks. Listen, I'm telling you this. If you want a chance to keep the season going, if you want a chance to be talking positively about things about Russell Wilson, you got it. You got a terrible defense with the Chargers. You got a head coach who, I don't know what he's thinking half the time, and he's probably on a razor thin edge whether he keeps his job. And you're doing so in a place that it's going to be 50% Broncos fans tonight. So sure, again, the excuses don't exist tonight for a loss. You lose tonight, man. I mean, you lose tonight. What road game are you going to win?
I do agree with you, and it was my column today at denverfan.com. Today's the tipping point, right? If you win today, you can look at it and say, all right, the Jets are playing better, but that's at home. Jacksonville's up and down. You can talk yourself into they could be 5-3 at the bye. Okay, everything would be okay. Given how bad it started, that would be great. If they lose tonight, we're going to be saying this is a team that's going to be 2-6 when they come home from London. Like it is that big of a swing type of a game. I think it's huge, and I think Russell Wilson answers the bell tonight.
Oh, boy. We got a lot to continue to talk about, but who needs to have the bigger game? Which side of the ball? Does it need to be the Broncos? Do they need 28 points tonight to get out of the top 5 or the bottom 5 of the NFL in offenses? Or does the defense need to shut down a very hot-ish, warmish Justin Herbert, D-Mac?
Well, the Chargers are going to put up 24 points no matter what. So even if the defense plays well, the Chargers are likely to score 24 points. Mm-hmm. But that also means they could score 40 points. They have that capability. The Chargers offense is probably as good as the defense is bad for them. And they are missing Keenan Allen. That's a good break for the Broncos right there. Yep. But it kind of doesn't matter that much. I mean, because you have a guy in Justin Herbert who doesn't take sacks, gets rid of the ball quickly. He can move around, and he's clearly a top 10 quarterback in the league, if not even higher. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you've got some issues going on here tonight for sure. So who knows?
Answer the question though. Which side needs to have a bigger game?
The offense needs to have a bigger game because the defense they got to score 25 points. How do you score 25 points at least? Or 26 or 27 or 28?
I don't even know if this offense is capable of it, James.
Well, right. How do you do it? And until we see it, it's hard to understand how it would happen.
Well, and I think that's a very fair point. Until we see it, we're going off belief, faith, optimism, hope, whatever word you want to choose. Mm-hmm. But again, 5 games it's a sample size, but it's a small sample size. Mm-hmm. And if you look at just yardage per game, okay, the Chargers have a good offense at 395. The Broncos are averaging 365 yards a game. It's not a huge difference. The difference is points per game because the Broncos fumble at the goal line. They got into field goal range 5 times last week in the second half, 5 times, and scored 3 points. Like, that's hard to do. So at some point, all this moving up and down the field has to result in something. Has to be tonight, has to be the offense. The defense is going to do their thing. They're going to hold them in the 20s. It's going to be somewhere in the 20s. And then the Broncos offense has to actually turn all that yardage and all that moving up and down the field into some points. Has to happen tonight.
James, I'm just dying to know, if you were almost something, what would you be?
If I was almost something?
But because you're talking about almost this and almost that and this almost and almost this. I told you I'd be a Hall of Fame baseball player for the Red Sox if I was almost tall enough. So I'm just curious, James, in your almost world here, if you were almost, what would you be?
If I was 3 inches taller, if I was 3 inches taller, I would be a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what I'd choose to be.
There you go. What team?
Yeah. It wouldn't really matter. I wouldn't want to play for the hometown team. That's too much pressure.
Yeah. Forget that.
So,
who would it be?
Maybe like the Steelers. Never have to buy a beer or a meal in Pittsburgh.
Nice. So James is saying if he was 3 inches taller, he'd have a better career at the same exact time than Ben Roethlisberger. That's
No, I'm older than Ben. He would have.
So you're beating out like Tommy. Ben. You're beating out Tommy Maddox. More doable.
No, I would have been 31 during that draft, so they would have been like, "We don't need Ben. We got Marilat."
Okay, well, while I continue laughing, we do have to tell you about an awesome opportunity with Red Line Athletics Centennial, because you can enter in to win a free year-long membership. This will help take your student athlete to the next level. Plus, you get a $100 gas gift card. I'm willing to take any $100 to get free gas too. So definitely check it out. DenverFan.com, ages 8 through 18, enter in to win that free year-long membership. Okay, so it's been interesting, you guys. I laughed too, not only because this is a funny conversation that you two both just put on, but because I can't believe the Broncos are at this point. Like, I would never in a million of years guess that we would be having these types of conversations when they got Russell Wilson, or even after training camp or anything along those lines. So I can't help but laugh about it. But one thing that's also kind of interesting to me is how much, well, we've talked a little bit about the injections that Russell Wilson has had. We haven't really kind of dove into it. D-Mac, you've been saying, if he's hurt, he shouldn't play at all. So if things look like they're going bad tonight, like he's not making throws in places he should be, what are the chances that you possibly pull Russell Wilson out of this game?
Zero.
Okay, but we're seeing all these. I say this because we're seeing all these backup quarterbacks go in there and do great. Cooper Rush, I know last night didn't go super well, but he went 4-0. We're seeing whatever in New England.
Rachel, Nathaniel Hackett is not in charge of anything, okay? Let's just be clear. He needs permission to –
Is that a problem?
Sierra has better access to the bathroom than Nathaniel Hackett does. He's not in charge of a darn thing. Russell Wilson, you were sitting next to me, Rachel. Russell Wilson put himself back into the game without consulting with any coaches. He did it without the medical staff talking to Hackett. That Hackett supposedly says, "I'm not a doctor." That sort of talk about a BS cliche for a coach to not take somebody out of a game or bench somebody. I'm not a doctor, so they say he's okay. Okay. Just weak. There's zero chance that he comes out. He put himself back in when he was. I don't know what was wrong with Russ. Okay, because
so you're saying Hackett has zero power here.
Zero.
This is a guy who can't figure out what to do at the end of a game with a field goal, and you want him over there diagnosing concussions?
No, I want him to take a player out of a game who's not playing well and show signs of being hurt, because he was hurt all week, and then he went into the 10. Enough. This game is slipping away from us. Let's go with a guy that is not going to make some sort of terrible mistake. That had already been happening in that particular game. And you could at least go for a series or two and just let Russ, hey, man, maybe you feel a little bit better. Maybe you catch your wind a little bit. Maybe you take a little bit of a break. I mean, that was ridiculous, man. Every sign indicated Russell Wilson with his jacket on, fist pumping his teammates, looked like he was out. How about a coach going over plays with Brett Rippon having his helmet on until Wilson says something? And, it was like Brock Osweiler. Remember when Peyton Manning ran onto the field? And Brock was like, oh, okay. Well, but we had that moment, James. That did happen. And there was no consultation. Russ just put himself back in the game, and he shouldn't have. Shouldn't have.
Look, I get it, but I'm not going to criticize somebody for being a gamer and going back in the game and being tough and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not. Are you going
to criticize a coach for not pulling a player who possibly could potentially needed to be pulled?
His other option is Brett Rippon. Like, come on.
Okay.
So, as bad as Russell Wilson was playing, he's light years better than Brett Rippon.
You sure? You positive about that?
Yes, I'm sure.
I'm not, and I don't know what data you have to support your opinion.
1 start, 3 interceptions. One of which
won the game. Beat the Jets. W.
The Jets. Okay.
Whatever. It's an NFL team. You just lost to the Colts the 30. Listen, the Colts won. The Colts just keep beating teams, which is comical. They're terrible.
Brett Rippon has been here how many years?
4 now.
So
I
that's
think.
3 head coaches, 2 head coaches, however many offensive coordinators.
Somehow he keeps winning the job, dude.
Nobody has decided to play him, so they're all idiots because Brett Rippon is so good. All those guys are.
Listen, I'm not saying that, but he was better. He's a better option at that moment, and that's who your backup was. Okay, so you got to get over the fact about what am I talking about? It's all Russell Wilson. Hackett has no power. Whatever. You're just going down with the ship.
I would have, and I do think this is a interesting angle to it. I would have been fine with them putting Josh Johnson in the game there. Like, why
he's not active, James?
Beyond me,
James. Every single person that you're supporting because of Russell Wilson has made the decision. Brett Rippon's a better option than Josh Johnson. Every single person. Well, you like Russell Wilson. You like what he brings to the table. Give him a chance. Well, everybody who agrees with you on that also chose Brett Rippon over Josh Johnson.
Well, they're wrong. They were wrong in that decision.
They're right about Russell Wilson.
They were also wrong in picking Jalen Virgil over Seth Williams. How much have we seen Jalen Virgil all year? Despite the fact
you want to go down the laundry list of what they were wrong at? They were wrong to bring Randy Gregory on when he had shoulder issues. They were wrong to bring back Melvin Gordon. They were wrong about Billy Turner. Should I keep going? There's a million. They've been wrong about Nathaniel Hackett.
Regen days, field day. The list.
Let's go.
I'm with you.
Keep going.
Would you both have? Okay, how do I phrase this? The throw to KJ, what should have been a touchdown. Do you think that this is because of his back, and he just wanted to throw this way to avoid feeling any sort of pain in his back / his throwing shoulder to go this way?
No, he likes Cortland Sutton. He trusts Cortland Sutton. But Cortland Sutton's a bigger target. He's got a better relationship with Cortland Sutton. This is exactly what Tim Tebow did, by the way. There was one look and one look only, and that's what Tebow did, and that's exactly what Russell Wilson did. He wasn't seeing the field. Things are happening crazily in his mind. He spent an hour after the game. Now, see, this is what James will say is a personal attack, but it goes to his mindset. He spent an hour after the game not changing and then walking up on the stage as if he was crying. And then I ask him about how he's struggling a few days later, and he almost starts crying again. I mean, you want to say, oh, these are personal attacks. Well, where's your mindset? How are you analyzing things on the field? Where exactly is your head at? You're throwing out Winston Churchill quotes and other quotes. He doesn't stop with that crap. I mean, listen, I love that he goes to Children's Hospital. I think that is absolutely amazing. How about just doing it and not posting it on social media? Just do it because you're an awesome guy. And there's so many Broncos players, by the way, that do all sorts of charity things and don't publicize it whatsoever. I know they do. Because it's like, get over yourself a little bit. And perhaps if you give into what the team is doing, perhaps the entire result will be better. But James, you would take that as a personal attack. And I'm telling you that I think there are things in his personal life that are affecting his performance. Who he is not translating to other guys, and that's having an impact on the field.
Well, yeah, a lot to unpack there. First of all, I think he missed KJ Hamler and we should have seen the red flag. They told us during mini camps this offense was what Russell Wilson likes to do and Nathaniel Hackett likes to do, and they're putting them together, and it's the most complicated offense of all time. That should have been a red flag, right? He looks like a quarterback who's confused and doesn't know where he's going, and he's getting the play call in half Mandarin and half Chinese or whatever you want to say, and it's just not computing in his head, and you have that quick to make a decision. That's what it seems like to me, where it's so obvious who to throw to, you're overthinking, and I don't care who you are as a quarterback. If you're overthinking, you're not going to play very well. Do I like all the stuff he posts on social media? No, of course not. Part of that's because I'm old, and I just think you should do that kind of stuff in private and not be seeking attention for it. But I'm not going to be critical of him for it. Like, I'm glad he does that. I don't see Russell Wilson on the police blotter. So,
oh my God, we
haven't had to have Zach By call the Arapahoe County Sheriff to confirm if Russell's in a holding cell or not. So okay. I just think the criticism is silly. I really do. So he sat in his locker for an hour. Who cares? Why is that not genuine? Why can that not be genuine?
Wait. So you're making the argument that Russell Wilson's a genuine person?
I'm asking that specific example. Why?
Okay, I don't know what's going on when I see something I've never seen before. After covering the NFL for like 28 years, I have just never seen it. So why
not go back to an office where you know that the media is not going to be around watching or possibly hearing what you have to say? Like, why not leave the locker room?
I've just never seen a player an hour after a game show up for a presser still in full uniform. You know, and then the next day is the Winston Churchill quote, and then the next day is the trip to LA for some mysterious shot, and then I see no problems throwing a football the next week. I mean, none. And I was out there for 3 days watching him throw footballs, and I'm like, this dude's not hurt.
Because he got those injections.
Wait a minute. If you just take these piece by piece, this is what's driving me nuts. Like it's absurd. So we're upset with him that he wore his uniform to press conference.
Why did he do it, James?
Hang on. We're upset with him because
not upset. I'm asking why.
Went to LA to get a shot. We're upset with him because he is like every millennial in the world posting inspirational quotes on their social media. Like, I don't know. I'm not here to psychoanalyze the dude. Whatever. Who cares?
To be fair, I haven't posted a quote on my social media in like 10 years, and Russell Wilson's how many years older than me? He's 30.
My bet is Russell Wilson doesn't know his password to any of his social media accounts. He doesn't post that stuff.
Okay, that's a big question too. So that's a great question, James. Is he doing this stuff or is his team doing this stuff?
Team.
So then are you firing your team because you're making it a huge deal?
Yes, his team is making him look bad. I will wholeheartedly agree with that.
Then guess what, Russ? You don't have to fire your team, but put them on hold. Where is the person in Russell Wilson's life who keeps it real for him? He needs the keep it real guy. And I don't know who that is. So whatever, man. I mean, listen, you win the game tonight. We're having a different conversation. It's a bottom line business. But here's what you should know. After they needed the time off, the whole team did, which is sad, but they did. Okay. They were in much better spirits this week than they were last week. Last week was a cluster. When you had 2 games in a short period of time and you lost them both, what a disaster, right? So they needed time off. They got it. The spirits were pretty good over at Dove Valley, and they have leaders coming back healthy. Okay, good. I mean, there's some good things going on here. Russell Wilson looks fine, so you're worried about him being injured or whatever the hell's going on. Looked okay to me, looked okay to a lot of other people, and they're not making excuses for it. So, okay, let's go. Let's go. You're probably as healthy as you're going to be. Let's go. Sutton's healthy. Latavius Murray now is up to speed. Melvin Ingram, Boone, they're all healthy. Jerry Jeudy's healthy. Dulcich is back as a receiving tight end. Here we go, right? Let's go.
That hasn't been made official, though, yet, has it?
Wait, I thought it was. Was it not? Am I wrong on that?
I don't think it's official. I think they're saying it's a possibility, but could be like game time decision, I thought. I mean, I'm excited to see that, so we'll all be interested. One thing that the Broncos do need to do tonight, though, is they need to pick off Justin Herbert. The last 2, or so out of the 4 games, 2 times they've given Justin Herbert 2 picks, and he is 0-6 in games where he's been picked off twice or had 2 turnovers. Or 2 interceptions, excuse me. So if the Broncos defense can get that done, it looks like there's a good possibility that they could pull out a win tonight. Thoughts?
Yeah. They need to be playmakers on that side of the ball. The Greg Dulcich, riding in to save the day thing is just laughable to me. It's like a little kid saving the Titanic because he played with a rubber ducky in the bathtub. I mean, like, this guy can't do it. I mean, really? That's what we're counting on? That's what we're counting on is Greg Dulcich, who's practiced what? Twice?
Well, he's been practicing a lot. He hasn't been activated, but he's been out there practicing.
Good grief. Great.
Well, what does he even have to do for you to walk away and be like, he had a good game tonight? Touch it once?
2 catches for 15 yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like James said, he's not going to come in and save the day by any means. Okay, so which Bronco needs to have the biggest game or night tonight? And you can't say Russell Wilson. You can't say it. Who else needs to? Is it Melvin?
Probably Cortland Sutton. He probably needs something like 12 catches for $140, something crazy like that. He needs to catch some contested balls. If you watch the Bills, as great as Josh Allen is, and he is unbelievable, look at what Stephon Diggs does. That is just absolutely nuts in terms of contested passes, and he takes balls away. And, you got to make some incredible plays. You got to have a good, solid quarterback, but you got to make plays too. So Courtland Sutton needs to have one of those games.
I just don't even know if Courtland Sutton can be that dog. I don't know.
Courtland Sutton's a really good number 2 receiver. The problem with this offense is he's the number 1 guy here, right? So, it's the same answers we've been waiting for weeks, if not years. It's Jerry Jeudy, it's Melvin Gordon, it's Albert O. It's like, could somebody step up and finally live up to their potential? We talked 10, 11 days ago about the Disney movie. Maybe tonight's the Disney movie. It's Melvin Gordon against his former team because they have to run the ball. This offense is predicated on running the ball, and they haven't been able to do that particularly well other than the game up in Seattle to open the season. So I'll go with Melvin over Latavius Murray just because I don't believe Latavius Murray is ready to go, but somebody in that backfield has to have a big night.
How do you anticipate the split to be tonight between the two of those backs? D-Mac?
I think Melvin Gordon might get 4 or 5 carries. I think they'll start out with Mike Boone. They'll then go to Latavius Murray, and they'll use Gordon as needed.
Wow. I would be surprised by that, but D-Mac's out there and sees more practice and what's going on at Dove Valley more than I do. I would think it would be 70-30, but we shall see. If Latavius Murray's that ready to go, then maybe this super complicated offense isn't.
All right.
Isn't what they told me.
Why is Latavius Murray here?
He's here as break glass in case of emergency. I mean, if Melvin Gordon goes down, who are they going to go to? They got to have somebody they can put out there.
Okay. I mean, they could have gone with a lot of other running backs besides Latavius Murray to do that. They got a seasoned guy. They got a guy who scored a touchdown in England. He's going back to England. Latavius Murray can't get enough of England. So, hey, listen, I don't know. It's got nothing to do with me being out there. They don't show us the game plan out there. I know Latavius Murray should be up to speed. They said he's up to speed. He's 6'3". He's a bigger back. I just think they put in Mike Boone just to mix things up because I don't think they seriously trust Melvin Gordon. But maybe they do. They could prove me wrong easily. And maybe, even in Melvin Gordon's big game, how many carries did he have? 15? It's not like, he had a ton when there was no choice. Remember, that was the no choice game? We have no choice but to play Melvin Gordon. And even then, he only got 15 carries.
We don't like the idea of having a split back when it was Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So how do we feel about a 3-back rotation or looking for the hot hand, James? Yeah.
I hate it. I hate running back by committee. But at least if you've got 2 capable guys, you can make the argument of, well, we got to get them on the field. And look, Melvin Gordon is much maligned in this town, and at this point, rightfully so. But he is a good running back. He's a talented player. They wanted to get them both out there, and they wanted to try to save Javonte Williams some wear and tear. Now, obviously, that didn't pan out and didn't help. But, I don't think you have a huge need to get Mike Boone on the field. I think Latavius Murray is out there if Melvin Gordon gets hurt or if Melvin Gordon puts the ball on the ground again. Because I think there's a 0 tolerance policy with fumbles. I think it's over if Melvin fumbles again. So I think and I said this when they had both of them, it's why I didn't want to bring Melvin back. I wanted to see Javonte Williams as the workhorse. That's my preferred style. I think that's part of why they have all these fumbling issues is because they're bouncing back and forth from back to back. So I think a 3-back committee is even worse than a 2-back committee.
By the way, James isn't wrong about running the ball. If you watch the Chargers-Browns game, which is the last game that the Chargers played, Nick Chubb, who's far superior than anybody we have, but still, they did whatever they wanted, basically running the ball against the Chargers, and that theoretically should work great for Russell Wilson because if this is the whole let Russ cook thing is ridiculous. It's Pete Carroll's not an idiot. The Seattle coaches aren't stupid. They were around the guy for a long time. They knew that they had to move him around. They knew that play action off the running game works well. This is not new information, everybody. So if you punch him up, you get the running game going, then play action, use Russell Wilson, move him around, and you can take deep shots. And you could get, seriously, Courtland Sutton 8 catches for 140 yards. You could. if you are effective running the ball. You're right about that. But guys, if we're 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 the whole night, it's going to be 3 and outs. It'll be the same old, and you'll be lucky to get 15 points if you have, I don't know, 6 3 and outs tonight. That's something that you can watch. The more 3 and outs, the worse you're off. So you wipe out your defense when you have them on the field that long, and Justin Herbert will get you eventually. So yeah, okay, James, I'm with you. Do what the Browns did, do what Seattle was doing all those years. What are we waiting for? I mean, let's stop playing games here. This silly let Russ cook thing. That is not going to work. That is not who he is. This has been told, by the way, countless times now by people who know football. Go back to what Seattle was doing effectively and copy that for yourself. The end. And that needs to be Russell's career unless he grows, which I don't think is happening.
You don't think is he 31 that he's going to grow a few inches? Maybe he could add some
30. Rachel, he's 33, by the way.
Oh,
and you put up that graphic with Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the NFL? I know you did, but I'm facetiously. If you watch the NFL, what are we seeing out there, guys? We're seeing younger, more athletic, mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, which is really damn exciting, by the way. And you see, and you're seeing like the Giants with Brian Dable. Look what they're doing. Jalen Hurts, the khaki pants dream there for Mike Evans. Look what the Eagles are doing. I mean, the one bust out of all of this seems to be Kyler Murray. That seems to be a disaster for whatever reason. But there's so many young, exciting quarterbacks out there. Never mind the stratosphere of Josh Allen. I mean, that dude is, it's Josh Allen 1 and everybody else, 100 for Josh Allen, 0 for everybody else, including Patrick Mahomes. This dude is on a crazy, talk about a slam dunk MVP so far in the NFL. I mean, it's not even close.
All right, well, we need to bring in Jake Shapiro because he does have some non-Broncos NFL breaking news. Jake, what do you have for us? I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, guys, big blow up yesterday in Carolina. Robbie Anderson on the sidelines getting kicked out of that game. He has just been traded to the Arizona Cardinals. The return not yet announced, but of course better than cutting him, which the Panthers reportedly were going to do according to Ian Rappaport. So Cardinals add a first wide receiver in the last few years, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, and now Robbie Anderson.
Okay, all right, interesting. Man, the Cardinals are just something else. You mentioned Kyler Murray. I feel like I could have said, oh, yeah, he was going to be a bust when they had all that drama when it came down to his contract. But interesting. So another threat added to the Cardinals offense, and the Broncos will see them later on this season. So interesting. Keep your eyes on that. James?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, but they also are without DeAndre Hopkins. Wasn't a 6-game suspension, so he would come back here this next game. That'll help a ton. He was their best receiver. Christian Kirk signed the big contract with Jacksonville. Like James Conner left. Like they lost a lot of pieces. So trying to surround him with some more weapons is probably a good idea. He can only do so much. That does seem like a relationship, him and Cliff Kingsbury, that is headed for a divorce at some point. But I think if you're taking one last gasp, if you're the Cardinals, all right, go try and get some talent, put him around Kyler Murray. Get DeAndre Hopkins back and see if you can get that thing fixed. That makes sense to me.
Do you guys want a last-second tour of my potential new podcasting location?
Oh, yes. I forgot about this. Please take us.
All right, so we're going to go on a bit of a tour here in the domicile. And it's down in the basement, which we rarely use because we don't like the cats down there. All right, there's cats sleeping over there. So we're down here. Show you all the
house tour.
The glory of the basement. And we come down here. Now, I got some cleaning to do, but I got the drums set up. Look at this. The drums are set up here.
Nice.
Right? You got that clicking. And then, hold on. Then we got this as a new potential background.
Nice.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now I got stuff behind me. Can you see that Syracuse diploma? Can you see it?
Very nice. I like it.
There's a humidor that has like one cigar in. That I'm not much of a smoker, to be honest with you. I got a souvenir all-star Budweiser beer from St. Louis. I got that. So, so potential right here. What do you guys? Yes, no. What do you think?
Good. You might need to check your Wi-Fi down there. You might have to move your router or your modem down there. But otherwise,
by the way, here's what I looked like when I was 22. Wait, hold on. Right there.
Wow, that's
right
good.
there.
That's great.
Those are all my college buddies.
That's crazy.
22 DMAC right there. You know what? Maybe I'll just use this picture. Maybe I'll just talk like this.
It's the curly hair for me, DMAC.
James, you're wrong. James, you're wrong.
Black and white. All right, everybody. It's going to be an interesting day today. Broncos taking on the Chargers for Monday Night Football. We've got Orange and Blue today at 3:30. Our pregame show at 5:15. Then we got halftime chill. And we've also got post-game live. So make sure you hang out with us. We'll keep you up to date on everything. Denver Broncos will take on the Chargers. We'll see everybody later.